going to talk to you about my concept. It's called Traceable Communities. Uh, I, when you can't do something about and you feel helpless, what I resort to is just trying to come up with solutions, just thinking. And in this situation right now, a lot of people are hurting and suffering, and now people are getting angry, and we're in an anger phase. And then what really greatly concerns me is that we could still have a resurgence of COVID-19. I think we have been doing a good job of social distancing as far as compliance goes, but that's going away, I think. And also, it's turning into kind of fake compliance where it's ineffective. I don't think that we could have, with the current system right now, a major resurgence, but we could have a continuing a minor resurgence. And there are some contributing factors to this, and the contributing factors are we're not really limiting who we're exposed to. We're still getting exposed to potentially hundreds of people. People are actually being exposed to hundreds of other people, and they have a false sense of security because we're just using cloth masks. And also, people are just starting to not comply and not take it seriously and rebel against it. So what I want to do is come up with something that makes everybody happy. And so I want to come up with a setup where people can still work for a living, where people can still go get a haircut, where people can still go to the beach, where people can still socialize. And the way to do this is to uh, document or itemize, control, have data that is a known factor. If you go to, like, if I go to Walmart right now and there's maybe 50 people in Walmart, um, none of those people I know. I might know the check lady at the check stands or something, but other than that, I probably might run into a friend maybe, or just see somebody that I used to go to high school with a long time ago, but I don't know anybody. And so here's my document, and that's not good because then you're exposing to other people. This should be really obvious and simple to understand. So here's my document. I'm going to read my document and see if I can get through this quickly. And I might make a link to the document available so you can read it. And this is just the beginning of what I'm trying to do. So it's Traceable Communities, a path forward to keep peace while still slowing down epidemics effectively. Traceable communities is a concept that could prevent another resurgence of COVID-19 or any future viral pandemics, while at the same time avoiding violations of civil liberties. As of this writing, we are seeing an increase in protest against COVID-19 measures and controls on the population by federal, state, and local governments. If this escalates, we could have a situation where people rebel against the controls, and then if a resurgence comes, we will not be prepared, and we may have non-compliance at the same time there is a resurgence. Also, those people that don't comply will be blamed for the resurgence, which could cause people to be angry and cause conflicts. Traceable communities is an integral solution to this problem. What is traceable communities? Traceability is a factor in controlling the spread of virus epidemics or pandemics. In order to implement tracing, you need to have good traceability in the form of a robust and reliable information and control over human behavior. The enemy of traceability is when individuals are exposed to hundreds of people, most who are strangers. The more people a person is exposed to, and less traceable an epidemic becomes. So traceability is very important. Traceable communities is a way to limit and monitor the number of people that an individual has contact with. Traceable communities are a controlled, connected, and monitored group of people that you come in contact with on a regular or scheduled, closely monitored basis. Protected groups such as senior citizens, people with asthma, or other respiratory diseases, etc., should have a smaller traceable community and should be isolated as much as necessary, but everyone should have a traceable community either online via social media or in a safe social distancing and sanitary environment which is appropriate. The benefits of traceable communities are traceability, which I've gone over. If someone tests positive or contacts any symptoms, everyone in the traceable community can be notified immediately because everyone in the individual's TC, keep that acronym, traceable community equals TC, has a contact number, text or email, or social media messaging. Also, this information is reported so that necessary isolation of persons impacted can be determined. This information is crucial and is missing with any other tracing plans that I know of that I wrote this. Economic and personal freedom. People will still be able to work and enjoy life, which stimulates a good immune system. The happier you are, the better your immune system is going to be, the less you're going to take risks. You're going to be able to think clearly. You're going to be happy and have money to eat food and buy the things you want. Healthy people still be able to be in contact with germs and the flu virus in order to build an immune system, while at-risk individual people with health concerns can benefit from having a controlled environment of isolation while still being in contact with people that can benefit them. So the goal here is to the people that are healthy are a contact with their people that are in their TC, in their traceable community. You get exposed to those people with the certain limitations. You might use social distancing. If people are not comfortable with that, they can still social distance. It's a flexible system. It's a voluntary flexible system. Okay, peace and security. This is another benefit. We must work with the community and not burden them with oppression laws that appear to not make any sense. We need a plan that people can understand and is respectful of people's rights and allows them not to be dependent on the government for income. This will still achieve the goal of slowing down a pandemic even more effectively than current methods. Flaws with their current systems. There is no traceability, literal or no. They're talking about tracing, what's his Fauci, Dr. Fauci is talking about tracing. That's not feasible with the current system. If you have people that are just randomly going wherever they want to do with no tracking of it, and people are not keeping logs of who they're in contact with, and people are not limiting who they're in contact with, or meet people in contact with people that they don't even know, and that can that I'll talk about that later, who these people are that I'm talking about. Little or no traceability. There's no traceability. People are allowed to go to any store and be exposed to up to hundreds of random strangers at grocery stores and other gatherings of people. In order to have traceability, you need to limit the number of people to a group of people that are regularly in contact with, and a group that you can list in the event that someone contracts the virus. So in order to achieve traceability, we need to control what happens in stores, limits exposure to total strangers. People can still order food online or call in, have food delivered or dropped off, or have a different TCs coordinate purchases and delivery. So the TC can provide a role in making sure all your needs are met and you are happy. Also, we should open up not just grocery stores, but any store where you can order items and pick them up and have them delivered. The process is simple. When you pick up, you come at your scheduled appointment time. You visit as logged, and we keep track of who you contact with when you pick up purchased items from any type of store. You practice social distancing. The same goes for services such as haircuts, massage, auto repair, doctor visits, etc. All we need to do is keep track of what happened, but keep information private and possibly using codes, numbers, etc. And that's details I don't have time to go over, but we're going to use technology. And also, I might add to this that you need to keep track of who's coughing and what symptoms people have. Right now, we don't have a database. Like, for example, if a certain region of people or certain groups of people, all of a sudden they're reporting symptoms of fevers, coughing, headaches, sneezing, whatever, any kind of a symptom, a diarrhea, vomiting, anything, any kind of symptom, then we could be quickly alerted. Hey, these people in this area are not feeling good. It's like taking the pulse on certain areas. The people have a false sense of security. The cloth and sponge masks do very little to prevent exposure. Also, people are not wearing gloves. Are often seen adjusting the mask. You have a mask on, then you're adjusting it all the time with your hands that have been touching merchandise or the basket or whatever. And just imagine it. You put your hands in charcoal powder and see what, I've seen these videos of people doing this. The masks are burden and disrupt communication. Social distancing doesn't really work because people come in close contact bumping into total strangers in shopping aisles. I have seen this personally. So in summary, we can't just rely on this system. We could have a resurgence of COVID-19 and have pandemic of future virus strains if we continue the policy of isolation of healthy people while at the same time having people in contact with strangers that they can't trace or notify if someone gets sick. The virus can spread like wildfire if we're not aware of patterns of spread. Traceability is the key to all this. With traceability, we still expose healthy people to germs and common virus strains to develop immunity and to promote herd immunity. This is what they're doing in Sweden. This is the model that's working. The World Health Organization has agreed to it. Many experts and doctors are agreed to this. This is not a new idea. Then keeping our hand on the pulse of the spread of the virus, we can just make sure that we know what's going on. We have to use our technology to do this, not just a bunch of dictated laws from some dictator, from some politician that's out of touch with the needs of the people. The current methods are too controversial, violate civil rights, and are destroying the economy. The components of traceable communities are family, relatives that you might come in close contact with. You don't need to log when you go see your mom and dad. You don't need to log that. Those are automatically assumed that you have contact with. Okay, close friends, a similar type of thing. You might want to log some of that, but generally, if you see them often, you don't need to log when you're seeing your friends. Colleagues, if you're working at the same place all the time, people that you work with. If you work with the same people, you don't need to keep a track of a log of that other than when you were at work, and if you've seen anybody sneeze or cough or anything, or you get sick and you take days off or whatever like that. Teachers and students at the school, college, individual chance. So you can still go to school, but you have to you have to control that. So in some situations, maybe where you get exposed to a lot of people you don't really know at a school, you might have to have controls on that. And you also practice social distancing. Anytime you're in a situation where it's a large group of people, you need to practice social distancing, but not with smaller groups. If you're healthy, you don't need to practice that with smaller groups, because that is how we can make sure that the people that are healthy are developing immunity, and the people that are healthy are isolated from the people that aren't, and the people that are healthy are developing herd immunity and developing their own personal immunity as they get exposed to germs. It's like a muscle, and you flex it, and if you don't flex that muscle, it gets weak. It's that simple. The extended traceable community. And to say that we can just completely stop this, but there's no system that completely can stop the spread of this virus. There's nothing. Okay, so don't have a dream that we're going to do that. That's not our goal. Our goal is not to stop it in its tracks. Our goal is to control the spread, so that we don't have a situation where the hospitals are overwhelmed with people. We don't have a draconian measures taken where we have to be locked up in our house or not be able to go to work. We don't want that. That's what we're trying to avoid. The extended traceable community. A larger group of people that are similar timetable group activities that can be coordinated geographically and chronologically scheduled. What that means is that this is a little bit more of a complex group. But let's say you want to go to the beach. You can make it so that certain communities can go to the beach, and that you're aware what communities are going to the beach and where, and at what contacts happens between those different communities. It's a very high-end concept, and it's something I can't go into detail. But let's just say that we don't want to limit to just your family, friends, people you work with, and that. We want a little bit more liberty. Implementation. Now, implementation is very complex, but we're in a great communication age where messages can be shared quickly, cases can be documented electronically, computers can predict trends. Why not utilize use this to utilize TC? Why are we relying on one-size-fits-all solutions that only cause mental disorders? Mental disorders. Let's see. I'm sorry, I lost my place. Mental disorders, anger, hysteria, and anxiety, and don't take into consideration the difference between rural areas with less population density and urban areas that have mass transit. If everyone goes to the same church every Sunday, you know, people go to the same church every Sunday usually. They have a documentable community that can work together to track the spread. So if you went to church, they can log when you go to church and say, here you go, sign in. And then if someone gets sick that is in that church, they can go, were you at the same church as this guy? Yeah, this guy was sitting in the front row. You're way in the back. You probably didn't get exposed. You know, and then you can still practice social distancing if you're not comfortable with it. I try to want to keep this voluntarily as possible. It's a fairly simple model. The math may be a little complex, but there are some simple mathematical concepts behind this, and it's mainly data, just going through data and contacts. So you have a contact of people that are in your list, and what type of contact? Is it someone you always contacting, or is it someone that you only contact on special occasions? Each individual has a log of who they're in contact and dates and times. Now, I said, like, you can make it really simple. You don't have to have super detail. But like if you go to the store or you go to some place where there's other people that it's harder to control, or large groups of people, they can log you in with a barcode or some kind of a GPS or NPC system, and try to do it without violating people's privacy by masking identity or not pulling the information until it's needed. And all these other things. We can also use other technology. I'm a little bit familiar with blockchain technology. So you blockchain gurus out there looking at this, maybe look at some kind of blockchain solution in Ethereum or something like that. In summary, we need to open businesses while limiting access to places where large groups of strangers gather. And in a well-engineered way, we need a voluntary compliance wherever possible. Compliance can be encouraged by a sense of community, responsibility, and security of knowing that the people you're in contact with can give you an early warning if the virus gets to your TC. There could be another resurgence of possibly even more tragic. Now, I didn't mention this, but think about this. If you have a limited people you are in contact with, if everybody in that group gets the virus, it still is limited to just that group. It doesn't go to another group. So imagine how much control you can have over the virus. It's not going to spread to another country. It's not going to spread to another town. It's going to stay within that TC. And you'll know that these people have this virus, and you'll be able to distance from them. They will be able to stay at home, if they are concerned about it spreading. There could be another resurgence of possibly even a more tragic contagious infection as they may mutate into more violent or more contagious strain. I'm not an immunologist. I'm not a epidemiologist. I'm just a nerd, okay, that is using my brain. Right now, a perfect storm is happening where people are isolated, are not sustaining a strong immune system while people are blocking the system, perhaps even causing violent clashes with police and non-conforming groups organize and cause the virus to spread. And so with that, I have just one final message for people, and it's more of a personal message, but I believe that the Lord Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall obtain peace." So what I'm looking for is a peaceful solution. Many of the nonconformists are conservative politically and embrace faith in God. We need to remind them that peaceful solutions are what they're commanded to seek by the Lord Jesus Christ, not violent solutions. It says in the book of Revelations to St. John, "Those who live by the sword die by the sword." All men want peace and want to live happy lives without burdensome government intrusion. They're afraid of economic downturn and government oppression of freedom. TC can provide something that we can all rally behind and agree to live by voluntarily, hopefully. If we have a resurgence, the non-compliant or those who protested and have resisted the current system of controls could be blamed for the resurgence and lose their freedom. Also, if people resort to using guns or violence, then the government will look to gun control, declaring martial law, or impose more punishing restrictions. We need to come up with intelligent solutions that are not one size fits all, ensure that we have a good economy and are not oppressive. We can achieve these goals if we share these ideas in a non-confrontational way, with great joy in our hearts, enthusiasm, and with hope that we can have peace, security, and prosperity. I hope this message gives you hope. It gives you something to live for, to look forward to, and just a solution that's out there that you can share with other people in a way that's not confrontational. There's always going to be people that are going to freak out when I tell them we need herd immunity, but this is a common knowledge that we've had for decades about viruses. I know COVID is a new coronavirus. It's a new virus, but that doesn't mean it's not a virus. It doesn't exhibit the behaviors of viruses. It's not the flu, but it's a virus, and we also had SARS before that. And I trust that the medical community are getting a grasp right now of the virus, of its behavior, and we're seeing numbers that are positive of lower death rate. We're seeing cures come up. We have various drugs coming out. Some are cheap drugs, some are available easily, can be distributed quickly. We also have possibly a vaccine coming up, but we don't know. And that's all uncertain. We don't know about the financial situation we're in either. How we're going to recover by that. And so I think the solution is to enable people to have a job while still being able to intelligently control and get information that they need in order to protect the community and the world overall. And so if the entire world implements this plan, I believe that this could be a solution that saves millions of lives from all the suffering, from the economic downturn, the poverty that it could cause, to the mental issues that people will get, the suicide, domestic violence, and all the other complications that arise from really disrupting society in a big way. People that we don't know if they're going to do the right thing, and so we need to encourage people to do the right thing. And TC could be the solution. I'm alone in this, and I need your help in every aspect of this. I'm not the guy that's going to be engineering this whole solution. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just one concept among many other ideas that I think we need to implement. And we need technology experts. We need privacy experts. We need maybe blockchain experts. We need doctors and physicians to get behind this. We need politicians to see the benefit of this. We need the religious community, Christians, Judaism, and Islam to unite, all the other people, spiritual people, to unite that want peace. We need to have peace. And so we need to I think the benefit of just coming up with a peaceful solution that everybody will like is worth the effort, because then people can have hope that this is not going to be, that we're not going to have to fighting each other. Fighting is so childish, and it's not necessary. I think that we all want to be safe, and we all want to do the right thing. I think we need to give people more credit than they are. Law-abiding citizens are not the problem. The problem is when you have people that are violating human rights, and the COVID is the problem. The virus is the problem. Thank you.